Hello beautiful people, my name is Jane and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're talking about what it's like to be in our 20s. It's not just me. I'm going to be sharing my experiences, but I'm also going to share other people's experiences because I had to perform a mini survey. So let's get into it now. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit the red subscribe button, turn on notifications so you know when I drop a new video. I drop videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. And please, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like. Even if you don't, because you're here, just help me give it a thumbs up. Now let's get into this one. So what happened, what prompted this video, or what inspired this video was I was talking to a friend of mine. It's actually a new friend, so it's not somebody I would say I know their journey, I know their story, I know their background and stuff. So we were talking and I can't remember exactly what we were saying. Then he made this comment. I had to write it down. He made this comment and I quote, he said, "There are times when I feel like a robot and nothing excites me. I just feel like I'm working for money and that there's not much to life. It's seasonal though. Most times I'm striving for purpose and to make the lives of others better. I wish I could say the same for myself." So when he said this, I was like, it made me think of my own self. It made me think of my own journey, my own emotions, the fact that this is something that I can relate to. And there was just this question of, are we all the same? We in our 20s, are we all experiencing the same things? And I decided to go further. So I picked a couple of friends. I sent messages to them. I came up with a few questions and I decided to ask them. So the first question that I asked was, if you were to give a name to this phase in your life right now, what would you call it? And this girl, she replied, if she were to give this phase in her life a name, she would call it "Please Help Me." So help me God. It was funny because it was something that it was something that I could also relate to. And with this response, I decided to, broaden it. I decided to go further into this thing. Came up with another question, picked more people, and decided to ask. Now, this was the question that I asked. I asked, what's the biggest challenge you face and fear you might never overcome in your 20s? Now with this, I was just getting lots of replies. Now this was the first reply that I got. Somebody said, I fear my efforts will never be enough to give me the life that I want. Now somebody else said, everything I knew about love turned out to be a lie, but I fear I will never learn. Now somebody else said, everything is a challenge, falling asleep, waking up, only to find I'm still confused. Okay, so somebody else said, being good enough for my parents, they have such high hopes, the pressure is real. Somebody else said, I can't go a day without popping pills. I'm sure you don't know this about me. I don't even know why I just said that, but I feel like I'm floating through my life most times. And I don't know if that's ever going to change. Somebody else said, I might be suicidal, but I can't tell anyone. They would think I'm being a drama queen. Somebody else said, I don't know. Okay, this is in Pidgin, so I probably need to pull a subtitle for people that don't really understand Pidgin. But he said, I don't know whether they swear for me. I don't they sing since 2013. I still never blew. Just when I started feeling like I'm seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, my tunnel go come increase again. Come carry the lights, go front. So what this means, basically, what he's saying is he doesn't know whether there is a curse on him or something. He's been singing since 2013 and he has still not met his big break or had his big break. Just whenever he starts feeling like, he's beginning to get it, he's beginning to make some progress, something else happens that distorts all that and, he has to go and start from square one again. So that's basically what he was saying. Now somebody else said, I'm not sure I want to get married. I made the mistake of saying this out loud one time. My mom they carry me in go deliverance from one church to another. They removed me from the hostel in school and brought me back home so they can monitor me. So the next person said, I broke. Okay, this is also in Pidgin as well. The person said, I broke my sister. My brokenness no they ever finish. I go still broke tomorrow. So what she's saying basically is that she's broke, she doesn't have any money, and she never seems to have any money, and she will still be broke tomorrow. So that's what she just said. The next person said, I have all these business ideas, but I feel failure is still inevitable. Another person said, I'm about to be homeless and I can't go back home to my parents. They've been waiting for this to happen for a while. Another person said, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sure doing, but I honestly don't know where I am going from here. I'm just confused. So, the answer goes on and on, but I don't want to keep reading because, it might, I don't want it to get boring. But I think at this point, you guys get the idea, you guys get what I'm trying to, showcase. What I'm trying to say basically is that we in our 20s kind of like have the same thing, not the same stories, not the same journey, not the same experiences, but in everything that I've read when I went through this, there are four major emotions that I perceived or I believe is present in all these stories or in all these responses. And the first one is fear, the second one is doubt, the third one is pressure, the fourth one is sadness. Now, I don't know whether there are people in their 20s that have everything figured out, but I feel like there's just too much pressure. People talk about being a teenager, how hard that is, how hard it is to, have to figure out how to get in control of your emotions and the hormones and everything that is happening to you at that age. But I feel like 20s is kind of like talked about, underrated. The struggles involved with your 20s. It's kind of like underrated. People don't really, maybe they do, but when you see stories or you see videos or you see articles, people are always talking about things you should do in your 20s so you don't have any regrets. And you see stuff like travel. Will I travel if I don't have money? Get a career. We're out here trying to do that. I don't know about all the other parts of the world. I don't know about every other place, but here in Nigeria it's hard. Getting a career, see that you create one, and even when you're creating one for yourself, you still have challenges, you still have things that would, kind of like hinder your progress. Even if you're starting a business, you're still going to, run into brick walls. You're still going to have so many challenges, so many odds against you, even on that front, that you might not even be prepared for, and you still have to like navigate your way through it. And then there are people that they went to school, they came out with very good results. They went to very good schools. They came out, they're not really connected, they don't really know people, and they're still finding it hard to get a good job, still finding it hard to, stand on their own 2 feet. So the pressure is real. Try to buy a house in your 20s. You're supposed to like meet the right one in your 20s and start planning to get married. That is if you don't get married. Like anything after 25, people are now looking at you like, are you sure you're okay? It goes on and on, right? It goes on and on. You have to have it figured out. You have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. You have to be this, you have to be that. So there's just, the material things, the things that are expected of you. You should have a degree in your 20s. You should have this in your 20s. You should have that in your 20s. I'm not saying don't be ambitious. I'm not saying don't want the best out of your life. I'm not saying don't achieve things that you can or don't go after opportunities or even create opportunities for yourself. That's not what this video is about. What I'm saying is the pressure is real. And sometimes you that are in your 20s, it's okay for you to take a breath, to take a break, to take a breath. All these things are important. Now talk about fear. Now fear is something that I know personally. Fear of will I ever make it? There's just all these expectations and stuff like would I ever get to that level? Would I ever be that person? The fear is there. Like I have to make this person proud. I have to be like this. I have to be like that. It's there. And it's not just me. A lot of people also experience the same things. And it's crazy. Talk about doubts. Imagine a friend of mine saying he has all these business ideas, but failure is still inevitable. Like that hit me in a way that it's not easy. So if you're out there, you're going through the same things, you're having all this fear, doubt, pressure, and sadness, just know that you're not alone, which is very important. You need to know that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing, as long as you're doing your best, there's nothing wrong with you. And if you're going through these emotions, don't go and think, oh, this person has it figured out, that person has it figured out. Because apparently, most of these people that gave these responses are people that I really believed that they had it all figured out. I was actually hoping somebody would kind of like give me a secret, something that I don't already know, that something positive that will make me, that will help me too. That maybe if I feel like, maybe if I was doing this, I'll be. But at the end of the day, it turns out, oh no, wash. Nobody has it all figured out. Just like the girl that says she doesn't know what she's doing, but she's doing. What she does is that she's confused now. A lot of us out here, we are confused, but it's okay. I just hope, I don't know, I'm not in my 30s yet. Maybe I'll conduct another survey for people in their 30s to find out what it's like to be in that age bracket and whether it actually gets better. But I think it does. I think it does because I see a lot of people in their 30s. I don't know, maybe they are just saving things, but I think this confusion, this fear, this doubt, this pressure kind of like gets a little bit easier to an extent the older you get. I pray so. I really do hope so that that's the case. Now back to being in your 20s. We are always like after the success, the ambitions, the career, the money, the degrees, the job, the promotion, the house. We expected to get the marriage, get the man, get the woman, have a good relationship, get married, start a family, look successful, even if you're not. Because I know a lot of people, I know a lot of friends, people that I know that are stuck in bad jobs, putting up with horrible bosses that beat them down, bosses that abuse them verbally, even physically. They put up with all these things because this job description, this job dedication makes them look successful, makes them look like they have it all figured out. Because this job is going to give them that house, this job is going to give them that car, this job is going to it makes them look respectable, makes them look like they have it all figured out, even if they don't. Now that's the story of so many people that I know. That was my story at some point in my life. I put up with very horrible, maybe I'll do a video on that someday, very horrible bosses, people that I never should have, stayed working for them. But I did because it made me look, it made me look responsible, made me look like I had it all figured out. It also helped me because I'm not going to say I blame you, right? People that stay in those kinds of situations, not everybody that can say, you know what, I quit, stand up and live, knowing that they might not be able to make their rent, they might not be able to feed themselves, they might not be able to do all the adult things that they're supposed to be able to do if they don't stay in this situation or this job, putting up with all these abuses, because they know that as an adult you have responsibilities and you have to do what you have to do. So, having said all that, now let's get down to the one thing that nobody out there or people are talking about, but not a lot of people are talking. Even a lot of people in their 20s don't know that they need this as much as they do. They don't know that they need it. I didn't know that I needed it until I think I got to the point where I almost broke down, or I broke down. I don't know, but it's good to prioritize the fancy house, the cars, the job, the career, the marriage, the man and the woman in your life. All those things is good. They're all good things. If you have them, by all means, enjoy them, right? Don't let that just be the criteria by which you live your life. Okay, you can afford a good apartment, you don't own a house yet, and then you feel like you're a failure. Okay, you finish school, you would rather do a business, but having a career or working in a certain industry or whatever will make you look more glamorous, even though that's not what you want to do and it's going to make you a bunch of money. Well, at the end of the day, you know what's more important to you. You know what's more. What I'm saying is, let's all learn, all of us, let us all learn how to prioritize our mental health. Prioritize what's going on inside of you, what's going on in your head, in your mind, in your body. Prioritize all those things, because mental health is very underrated. People don't. It's until you break down. When you say you need therapy, a lot of people turn and look at you, especially in this climate. I don't know about, I know it's normal in the Western world when some things go on in people's life and they're like, oh, they need therapy. People even recommend therapy. But it's not like that here. Sometimes if you might be talking to a friend, you start saying exactly the look at you say, what's in the body? You don't get mind. You're expected to be hardcore, you're expected to be, not really show emotions like that. Not everybody. But what I'm saying basically is prioritize your mental health. Have that one person or people that you can be vulnerable around. It's very, very important. Like, everybody needs it. I'm not saying, if you have one person, two people, or look around you, ask yourself, who is really in your corner. Like, who is that person that you can really be yourself around? Good, bad, ugly. They're not going to judge you. They'll still accept you no matter what. Ask yourself, who's that person? Those are the people that you really need in your life, honestly. Because life is not easy, especially when you're in your 20s and you have all this pressure and you're trying to figure all these things out. So having somebody that you can really be vulnerable and you can really tell your deepest secrets, your fears, your worries, your doubts, it goes a long way in helping your mental health. Because trust me, that's why people might end up having all these things, being successful or looking successful. That's why people might have all these things, they're successful, they have this, they have that, and then they end up killing themselves. Because you don't know. You just have this war going on inside of you every day, but then you have to come out to the world and put up a brave face. Like, you have it all figured out. It's okay to not have it all figured out. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to not know what your next move is or not be sure of your next move. As long as you're on that constant effort for growth, to grow, it's okay to not be there right now. Don't look at other people, especially people online, and be thinking, oh, it's all a lie. A lot of people lie. When you sit still, it's very easy to be pretty until you start moving around, like I'm doing in my videos, and then it's different angles kind of like show, right? When you're sitting pretty, showing only your best side, only your best features, it's very easy to be pretty. That's why pictures are always perfect. Videos aren't. Real life aren't. So if you don't take anything else from this video, take that your mental health is very important. Prioritize that today. Normalize being vulnerable. But be vulnerable to the right people. It's not everybody that you see just start telling them for your business, but like really look in your circle. Who is that person, or who are those people that have always been there? If you don't have, this is the time for you to consciously try to attract that, try to meet that, or try to create that therapy. If you feel like you can afford it and you have the access to it, don't look at yourself and say it's not Nigerian or it's not African or it's not to do. No, we're all human beings. You might be African, but your blood is still red. You still have all the parts and organs, all the emotions and hormones and everything that every other person has. So you're still a human being. You still deserve to take care of yourself on that level. So if you're in your 20s, you're struggling with this, with that, or you're any of these things that I've mentioned, just know that you're not alone. It's not just you in the world. It's not just you alone. It's not. A lot of us out here, even the ones you think are successful, famous, have it all figured. They don't. I don't know if anybody really does. Anybody in this age bracket really does. So do your best every day. Do your best every day and be content with the best that you have done. Content with what you have, what you can give, what you've been given. Even on that quest for more, be content. Try to be. It's not easy. It's not something you wake up one day and just be content. No, but try consciously to be. That's the whole point of this video. And prioritize anything around you in your life that is not fulfilling you mentally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. Has to go. This is also the age bracket when you have to let a lot of things behind. So know that it's a journey, it's a process. You're not supposed to have it all. Even though it's like, oh, this my cousin got her big break when she was 20 or 19 or 18, or she bought a house when she was 20, she bought a car when she was 19, she blew in her career when she was 12. It's not, even if a person has the career figured out, what about the other things? I know they have people that feels like they have the house, they have the car, they have the man, the woman, they have the great relationship, they have the marriage, they have the children, they have everything at this age bracket, and it makes us, feel less. Makes us feel like we must be doing something wrong. But also notice that our stories are not going to be the same, right? I read this somewhere one time that said some people get their break when they're 20, and then by 30, 40, they're dead. Sorry, I'm not saying anybody that's successful will die soon. But what I'm saying basically is that our journeys are different, right? There are people that got their big break at 50 and then they get to live another 50 successful, making use of all the experiences they gained in the first 50 as a failure. And then there are people that, they get all these things so early, so young, and then they find out that their purpose, their journey, what they really want is not all those things. and then they at some point in their life they choose to follow another path to do something else different. So having all these things that make you feel off, is not actually going to make you happy. To go a long way making you feel like, but it's not necessarily the thing that's going to make you happy. I don't know, maybe I'm just broke, I don't know. But I feel like that's not really the point. So back to this video, back to the point of this video. Normalize mental health. Do whatever you can to be in a good mental space, to be well mentally, to be comfortable, to be content, to be happy. Do whatever you can for yourself, for your mental health. Prioritize your mental health. Always put it first. When people start conversations that is going to mess up your mental stability, or relationships or friendships, that cut it off. Do whatever you can to be okay mentally. Be vulnerable. Show emotions. Show it to the right people, but show emotions. Be vulnerable. That's the whole point of this video. It's okay not to have it all figured out, as long as you believe that one day you will. And don't take things at face value in your 20s. Don't be like, because today is bad, the rest of my life is going to be bad, because it's not true. It gets better. I believe so. I don't know, but I believe it gets better, right? So just have that at the back of your mind. You're going to be better, you're going to do better, you're going to get better. So life will be better, will get better. Have hope. Even if you lose everything else, don't lose hope. Even if you lose everything, don't lose hope. And don't take your eyes away from the prize. You know what the prize means to you. So do what I work towards it every day. You may not really get it in your 20s, which is okay. You're not dying anytime soon. So work hard, strive for greatness, strive for success, or most importantly, strive for happiness. And happiness is not a destination. It's not something that when you have this, I'll get this. It's not an equation to being happy. Happiness is something you work for every day. Just like you work for money, you also work for happiness. Just like you work for that car, you also work for contentment, you also work for laughter. And so look for all those other things, all those other little things that will make you feel like I don't go for this life. So thank you guys for watching this video, and especially thank you for watching it till the end. And just like I said before, if you're a young person, maybe not in your 20s, you might be a teen and you're finding it difficult to just be alive, just know that you're not the only one. You're not the only one. There are a bunch of us out here doing the same things, but you know what? We're all gonna be fine. As long as we're here, we're here. We're gonna beat this thing. Just try today to celebrate your small victories, celebrate the little things. Pat yourself at the back even when other people don't, and do whatever you can to make sure that you're always in a good mental space. Therapy, expression, whatever, being vulnerable, speaking up, whatever it is, do it. Anything that steals your peace is not worth it. Thank you guys once again for watching this video, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit the red subscribe button to help me continue to do this, because it's not really easy making all these videos, the time, the effort that goes into it. So you subscribing is like you supporting me, and I really appreciate if you can do that. Give this video a like and share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with people that you believe should see it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.